what have I done? What have I let myself in for? This beautiful example of a GSXR 750 K7 has just arrived in the back of a van, and apparently, now this was booked in months ago, and I was just reading through my notes, wondering to myself, why on earth did you agree to do this? This has been in another dealership, who shall remain nameless. They've put a £1,000 ECU on it and haven't fixed it. Apparently, it's got some weird misfire. Now, don't ask me to name the dealer, because I'm not going to. And the reason is, you know, I've worked for some dealers in my youth that had some complete and utter fuckwits in the workshop, working alongside some really awesome mechanics. So, rightly or wrongly, dealerships get a bad reputation, and it could just because of one bell end that works for them. You know, you're all representing the company you work for, aren't you? So it only takes one dodgy mechanic in a workshop full of awesome mechanics to get somewhere a bad reputation. So there's no way I'm calling out a dealership that is potentially, well, I think they probably are a good dealership, actually, from what I've heard. Could just be one knobhead, couldn't it, not paying attention. So don't ask me in the fucking comments to call out who it is. I'm not going to. Save your typing. Anyway, I think what I need to do is I need to ring the customer and try and fucking hell, the compressor, holy fuck, it's trying to get me and I'm not even in the workshop. Can you hear that? I need to ring the customer and try and get the full story, if you like. I did speak to him a few months ago, but it's not fresh in my mind. I want to ring him, and with his permission, I'll record the conversation so you can earwig in and we'll both get the information at the same time. You know, I talk, don't I, about my diagnostic jigsaw, putting the pieces together, and, you know, a lot of those pieces can be found in a conversation with a customer. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short because I'm starting to get rained on, and so is the motorbike. Let's go and ring the customer and see what information we can gather before we start ripping into this.
Hello, mate.
Hi, mate. How's it going?
All good, yourself?
Yeah, all right, mate. Not bad, not bad. Before I start,
yeah.
Are you okay if I record this conversation?
Yeah.
It might.
Sure.
I'm not sure at this point. It might make a YouTube video. I don't know at this point. But
okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. One of my friends was hoping that you will, so he could watch it. They were like, "Go on."
Yeah, no worries.
So, yeah.
So obviously, it's a few months since we actually spoke in person, because this was booked in ages ago.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go right back to the beginning and just for my own sanity, get my thoughts straight with it. So, what's the origin? Obviously, at some point in the past, this bike was running perfectly. Yeah.
When I bought it run okay for until right couple days before I went to do a track day at Mallory Park.
Let's go previous. So when did you buy it? How long have you owned it for?
1 second, because I have a photo of when I bought the bike. So
I mean, just roughly. Is it a year? 5 years?
Yeah, a year. Yeah. It hasn't been that
probably
long.
A year.
I think it was last year.
So initially, when you bought it, you rode it for a little while and it was running okay, yeah?
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't have much time to actually ride it for a little bit because it was February.
Okay. So the weather was bad.
Yeah. So I rode it only on the way back from, I think, what was it, Nottingham? I thought Nottingham. I can't remember. To back.
Okay.
And then I did probably a couple of rides, and that's when I started feeling, doing the cutting.
Okay. So let's jump to the symptoms now. What's the actual problem with it?
So what I noticed was, when the bike gets hot like past 80 degrees, let's say, it's like it start like cutting out. So I will be in the traffic lights, and then the bike will cut out. So I'll start it. Sometimes it will start, some others it will not start.
Okay.
But once I start the bike and I start going, once I open the throttle, the bike goes like, So
okay.
it's like on off. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
Okay, and it definitely didn't do that when you first picked it up, because you had a fairly long ride on it, did you? When you first bought it?
It didn't do it until right before I went to do a track day.
How many miles do you think you did on it in your ownership before it went wrong?
If I'm honest, not much. Let's say, okay, so I bought it, what was it? Let's say, let's say 100 miles. Okay. Which I think it was less than that.
So you had good opportunity for it to go wrong, basically.
Yeah.
And then did it do it all of a sudden? Was it fine, and then next minute something was immediately obviously wrong?
Yeah, like the cutting out, it just started while we were going to go to the Mallory Park.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm lying. It was before that. It did like a on off. It went like a when I was riding. I remember telling my friend, I said to him, Simon, the bike did something weird, but then he stopped doing it.
Okay.
So I think the bike, something was wrong with the bike when I bought it back, because it was sitting obviously in the dealership.
Yeah.
No one was riding it. So as soon as I started riding it, that's when.
And it seems to only do it when it's up to temperature, does it? It doesn't do it when it's cold.
No, yeah, that's right. So basically, it's only when it's up to temperature.
Okay, so it's and it will definitely do it. I can replicate this problem, right? If I ride it, it will do it.
If you, let's say, if you take it out on the block and let it go up to temperature, you will actually feel.
Okay.
It's like a jerking. It's like on off.
And does it do it only in the high revs, or does it do it all the time?
Anytime, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that happened, and then, without naming the name of the dealership it went to, you sent it to repair. Okay, yeah.
And then they said to me, oh, it's the ECU. And I remember thinking the ECU, because the symptoms were completely different to what the ECU. I have some friends that they have like a bit of idea about, not mechanics, but they know a bit of bikes.
Yeah.
And,
no, I understand.
Yeah, and they were like, nah, I don't think that's the ECU, because it was something to do with the temperature.
Yeah.
So
they put a new ECU on, did they?
That's what they say. They said to me, "Oh, look, we're gonna get you a deal. If you get it with us, we'll give you a deal."
Okay.
So then as expensive as
the music. How much was it?
It was, oh my gosh, I think it was almost $2,000.
Wowzers! And you paid the money, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Fuck me. Okay. And what did they? I don't understand how they gave it you back. Did they say it was fixed?
Yeah. And I remember I explained, when I go there, I explained the problem. I said, look, this is what's happening. This is the problem with the bike. The guy was like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
I took it in.
So
the bike came back and...
Okay. So the exhaust pipe that's on it, has that always been on it in your ownership? Or have you put that on?
Yeah, I did put it on.
Okay. What was on it before? Was it a standard exhaust?
Before it was like a different Encant, but because when I went to Mallory Park, I had a little tumble, right? Then I had to get the mid pipe, and then...
Hang on a minute, so you did actually make it to your track day?
Yeah, I did, but when we were at the track day, the bike was not working properly, so I had to be pushed to start the bike, because the bike will not start by itself.
Okay, so you had, and you say it wouldn't start. Would it not crank over, or would it spin over on the electric start and not fire?
Yeah, it will definitely not fire. So my friend has to like push me.
So it would spin over on the electric start and not fire, or it wouldn't turn over on the electric start?
No. It will go normal and electric. But then once you will start it, it will go like, and it will not start.
I don't quite understand. So it sounded normal cranking, did it?
Yeah.
But it just wouldn't fire?
It wouldn't fire, that's correct.
Okay, and if you push started it, it fired up?
Yeah, that's
And then
correct.
was it running correctly once you'd got it going?
Yeah, it was fine. At the track day, it was fine. Then after the track day, the bike started to go like way more, but it started to go worse. And that's when that's when it was unrideable.
Right,
Yeah.
so you first experienced it before the track day, the problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It ran okay at the track day, and then it got worse after that.
Yeah.
But at the track day, it wouldn't start on the button. It would only start if you pushed it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Do you know if the new ECU they put on it, they've mapped it or not for the exhaust pipe?
They didn't mention anything.
Okay. Because there's no, I've just had a look, the link pipe, I haven't actually got the bodywork off it or anything because it's only just arrived, but it's not running an O2 sensor, no? Do you know this? Are you aware? It doesn't appear to have a lambda sensor on it, an O2 sensor.
No, I was not aware of that.
Okay, that's fine. And the FI light is on the dashboard. You mentioned something in a message about one of the servos for the throttle body and the FI light. Is that why the FI light's on?
Probably.
Okay. What was the... You were saying something about one of the servo motor deletes or something in your message.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell me about that?
To be fair, because my friend Simon, where the bike was staying at, he was, the one that he was actually doing pretty much all this work because, again, he was the one trying to help me to...
So is this after it came back?
Yeah. After, yeah.
Okay. So it immediately went to... And then they didn't fix it, so you've got your mate involved.
Yes. I had the bike twice. I took the bike twice because the first time it was ECU, right?
Yeah.
They didn't repair it. Then I took it again, and they said to me, "Oh, it might be the radiator and the the radiator hoses." So I bought a second. I went on eBay.
The radiator. I'm not with you. The radiator.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they said to me, "Yeah, is the radiator and the radiator hoses, so you need to replace all of it." And I was like, "What?" So yeah.
Okay, so anyway, they had a second go at fixing it, and that didn't work.
No.
And then I'm assuming, do they charge you for that as well?
Let me. No, they charged me for fitting the hoses.
I don't follow with the hoses. Are you talking about the regulator rectifier being moved? Because you said about that in a message.
Yeah.
So
no,
the reg rec's been moved into the airbox, hasn't it, to keep it cool?
Yeah. But right, I'm talking about now the radiator hoses, right?
Yeah.
The hoses. So he said the guy from the hoses was cracked.
Okay.
So he said to me, "I advise you to, replace that. And if you're gonna replace that, you might as well replace the radiator as well, that it all comes together."
Okay, well that's a different story. So they were fixing a different problem. That wasn't in a bid to try and fix this misfiring. That was, it looks like you're about to get a blown radiator hose and it needs fixing.
Yeah, so basically, yeah. So what I don't understand with them is like they never listen to what I was saying, what the problem was. They were just charging me for whatever they think the problem was, but the problem was never solved.
The golden rule with anything like this is you have to understand what the problem the customer's having is, and then you have to replicate the fault and reliably replicate the fault. Otherwise, how are you ever going to know if you fixed it afterwards? It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back then, one more thing. Back then, they didn't test ride the bike because I had a problem with the front rim.
Okay.
When I had the slide at Mallory Park, the front rim, the front rim was to be out.
Okay.
So they said that because of insurance purposes, they were not allowed to
But
test.
they've got a dyno, haven't they? So they probably had it on the dyno.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm assuming did the problem not show on the dyno then?
well, apparently it didn't.
Okay. So anyway, we could talk for ages about this. What did your friend do then when you had it back?
So the message that I sent you, this is basically all he's done. So
he moved the regulator rectifier into the airbox.
Yeah, right.
And he did something with the throttle bodies. Took the servo motor off.
Yeah.
Is that why there's a servo motor with it? Is that the motor off it?
Probably, yeah, I'm assuming.
Okay. In a bid to do what? How was that relevant to the misfire?
Because, on the Suzuki GSXR forum, there is a lot of people that they say, oh, it might be, the throttle body, or it might be that it's off. So he was just trying to see if that was the reason why the misfire was happening. Because it was only when you open, the throttle, that's when the bumping started doing the jerking. That's when it was happening. Okay. So, a lot of people come on this forum with different ideas.
Yeah, no, I understand.
He was just trying to see.
I understand. Right, okay. Yeah. I think I'm probably going to need to talk to you again at some point, but I've got it basically in my mind, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get to it now for a few days, so you're going to have to sit on your hands. I've got quite a lot going on. Yeah.
No worries.
But I'll get to it and I'll let you know how I get on.
All right, buddy.
All right,
Thank
mate.
you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, dude. Take care.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. So you can see how and I'm not criticising the customer in any way, because I know the customer's going to be watching this, and this isn't, I'm not criticising. You have to dig for information, the bit about it starting to do it and then not doing it at Mallory Park, but the only starting with a push, these bits of information, when you're trying to piece, I always talk, don't I, about the diagnostic jigsaw, piecing it together one piece at a time. These are all pieces of that puzzle, which, if you're lucky enough to get to a point where you've repaired it and you know what's wrong, you can, with hindsight, look back at this jigsaw and go, oh, that was an interesting bit of the puzzle and that would have fitted there, and if I'd been paying attention, that actually might have been a clue. So you know what I'm saying. Anyway, that's as much as me now. So I'm going to get it on the bench in a few days, but for you it will be immediately. And let's start trying to pick away at it. I haven't even tried to start it. So we'll get it on the bench. We'll just run it on the bench, see if there's any clues at all. And then I think we'll go and road test it and replicate the fault, right? That's what you've got to do. You've got to be able to reliably replicate the fault. Otherwise, you're never going to fix it. Right. Sorry that went on, but it's a necessary part of this video, I think. Right, I'll see you in a little while. So it is a few days later, and it's still fucking raining. I want to go live in California. No, I fucking definitely do not. But I wish the weather was better. Reliably replicate the fault, you say, Jim? Yeah, well, I would if it wasn't pissing with rain and I could go and ride it. I think initially what I'm going to do, I haven't started it or anything, let's start it. The servo's missing because the servo for the secondary throttle body servo is here, taped to a box. I think that's a regulator rectifier in there. So it won't have a fast idle. Why? Okay, do I want to go down this rabbit hole? I'm not really the man, certainly not the authority on this sort of thing, but why would you remove this secondary servo motor? If you don't know what that is, it's probably easier for me to show you once the airbox is off. But effectively what you've got, when you twist the throttle, okay, you are opening and closing some butterflies in the throttle body. Fucking old school with cables, not electronically. Back in the day when this was new, so you've got throttle cables, and they physically move the butterflies in the throttle body. What you've also got, another set of butterflies stacked on top, which are controlled by that servo motor there I just had in my hand. People remove that servo motor. So the idea of the secondary set of butterflies, without fucking murdering the subject, is if you were to, let's say the secondary set of butterflies weren't there, and you were to very quickly open the throttle, you would lose air velocity in the inlet track. The idea is, if you do something silly with the throttle and move the throttle around, the secondary set of butterflies will damp your input. That is a really shit way of explaining it, and there's way more to it than that. But people remove that secondary set. There are a few reasons that I'm aware of. If you're chasing absolute fucking horsepower, okay, and it's a tuned engine, you've got a full exhaust system, and you're mapping it, you've got you're not letting it get into closed loop or anything, you've got, I don't know, a power commander, or you've mapped the ECU, actually that secondary set of butterflies gets in the way a little bit of wide open throttle airflow through the throttle body. The main reason is people like to remove them to, you can make the, and it's not just a case of removing the servo and throwing it in the bin and all is well. It's got to be done in conjunction with remapping it, etc. But you can get a much snappier throttle and a much better throttle response without that butterfly being there, without the secondary set of butterflies being there. I'm not a tuner. I repair broken motorbikes for a living. You can go and research it. I don't know, go and ask fucking ChatGPT or something. But it is a thing that people do, but it's usually with a race bike, not a road bike. Having that secondary set of butterflies on a road bike to make the throttle response low down in the rev range just easy to deal with, I would be running the secondary set of butterflies on a road bike, and I think I'm going to end up putting that servo back on, because as the guy said, didn't he, in the telephone conversation, his mate just took it off because, so it hasn't been mapped to not have that there, etc. Anyway, fucking wafflage. Yeah, so it's pissing with rain. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to break all my rules and not replicate the fault. I don't really want to disturb anything. I do want to go, I just want to get the tank up and the seat off. I'll plug a scan tool in. Let's have a look what fault codes are live. Let's just get a little bit of an idea. I'm pretty sure the secondary set of butterflies that servo controls is spring loaded in the open position when the servo's not there. I might be wrong, because you wouldn't want that flapping around, would you? And know what I mean? Let's just take it apart a little bit while we wait for the rain to stop. Plug a scan tool in. Let's start to get the measure of it. Oh yeah, by the way, see where that little green laser pointer is? That is an O2 sensor. So it's got an O2 sensor. That's a good start. Let's get the seat off. Plug the scan tool in. See what codes we've got. It's a good place to start, isn't it? Nice. What goodness do you think we have under here then? Nice original bolt holding it on. Not. So, I mean, it all looks fairly original. What's that ECU looking like? It sort of looks as dirty as the rest of it, doesn't it? Okay, let's get the scan tool plugged in. That's the diagnostic port, which it's old school, isn't it? That's the AP, I think I need the AP01 cable and the AP15 Suzuki thing, adapter, that's been around since the beginning of time. Right, let's plug in, see what codes we can pull out of it. In fact, I think before I do anything else, let's just start it and see. We're not going to have a fast idle because that servo motor, what to say, the secondary servo motor, when that butterfly moves, I'll show you when the tank's up, there's a little cam which opens up the throttle butterflies, the main set that you control with your hand. These don't have idle air control valves. They use the set of butterflies like a carburettor would to control the amount of air at idle. Anyway, not getting into that now. So to get you fast idle, there's a little cam that opens the throttle slightly, which is controlled by that servo. Right, pull the clutch in. Well, it starts immediately. No fast idle, but that's not surprising. I've got no FI light, but I'll bet you £1,000,000 it'll come on in a second. Gonna make a fucking fool out of me. Actually sounds quite nice, the exhaust. There we go. It takes a while for the ECU to poll all the sensors and decide that there's something wrong. Okay. So that's kind of exactly what we expected. It starts and runs. It's not making any horrible mechanical noises. And the FI light comes on immediately. Right, let's connect this scan tool up. Right, so as I thought it was, it is the AP15 cable. Fucking hell, wires everywhere. And with this old school way of doing it, you have to bloody, because there's no power at the diagnostic plug, you have to give the machine the Navigator TXB Evolution power of its own. Okay, now then, to the laptop. I've got a screen recorder running, so I'll do my best to do something in the edit so you can see this better. It is a GSXR750 04 to 20, that one. Petrol injection, it's not Brazilian. Okay, I'm going to connect for me. Turn on ignition, press confirm. Okay. Wowzers, I've got a full house. So expect to see the throttle position sensor and secondary throttle valve codes. Yeah, so secondary throttle motor, that's missing, so we're expecting that. Position sensor circuit, a secondary throttle actuator, that's not connected either. And then what else we got? Fuel pump. Oh, what happened then? Got injector, fuel pump. Yeah, that's kind of... I wasn't expecting to see injector fault codes, but they could be old historic codes. See how they're orange? If I start it and the FI light comes on, some of these will turn red, I would expect. Let's do that. So it's running. I'll tell you when the light comes on. Yeah, the light's on now. Yeah, so we can see, look. What do we got? So we've got a map sensor code, which is orange. So that's historic. Air temp. Another throttle position code. Secondary throttle motor. Okay. I don't want to get too deep into this here. Oh, of course, it's fucking old. We got no fuel trim numbers, have we? Let me knock that off. Yeah, did you hear me? Over the row of that engine, we've got no fuel trim. What am I going to do? I think what I'll do is I'm going to let's... Oh, hang on, I've got the ignition off. That's not going to help. I'm going to spin off all these codes. Yes, I know, I turned you off, sorry. Yes, it's on. Wakey, wakey. I need one of those a few minutes later things, don't I? Oh, great. It's fucking crashed. Go back in. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to bin off all these codes. Okay. Didn't fucking turn it to stop, did I? Was I supposed to? Don't think it matters. Okay, so none of these are live apart from that one, which is what you'd expect. Let's run it. In fact, what I really want to do is you don't really need to do this, but I like to, you'll see what I mean in a second. Oh, Jesus, you're not Brazilian, for fuck's sake. Just cancel, go out of there. Mr. Fat Fingers. Let's go in there. I like to go out and come back in again. So that, I don't know why, I just don't like seeing the codes even though they're green. So that is the only true live code. Let's start it, see what we get. All right then. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's take you to the bike. It's more interesting to look at than that screen. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to... Fucking I should just ride it, shouldn't I, really? I'm just hesitating because it's so fucking miserable outside, so I'm trying to find things to do. I'm going to fit that. I'm going to take the airbox off. I'm going to fit this back on. Okay, I'm going to get it to a point where there are no fault codes and everything appears normal. Then we'll try and replicate the fault. Is that a mistake? You shouldn't really be doing that. You shouldn't be doing anything. You should immediately try and understand the fault that the customer's presenting you the bike or the car or whatever it is without fucking around with things. But I think I'm safe. I'm going to fit this because they took this off in a bid to try and repair it, didn't they? So I'm going to do that. Let's get the tank up. Glove up a bit. Fucking I went and bought the wrong size bloody gloves. I've got XLs and they're baggy. And nobody likes baggy, do they? Really annoying. What's the chances of the tank prop being there? Did these even have a tank prop on them? Oh my god, it's still there! Let's get the key for the seat. Fucking hell, I was not expecting that. Fucking hell. What is the chances of that still being there? You go in there. Let's get rid of that bolt and washer. Okay. Let's bring you in for a closer look. It all looks fairly unmolested. Let's go around the other side. It's all present and correct. Doesn't look too bodgy. The servo, can you see that? The shaft sticking out there. That's what the servo motor goes on. Screw missing there at the airbox. Let's get the airbox off and then we can see a little bit more, can't we? I don't want to disturb it any more than that. I want to get the servo motor on, get rid of that fault code, and then ride, and let's get it to break down. I'll stick my big fat fucking head in the shot, sorry. Find this screw hole. Perfecto. I do love the way these old GSXRs come apart. I had to fucking take those gloves off. Driving me fucking bonkers. Gonna have to buy some smaller ones. A couple of relays. Air temperature sensor, which that little clip is broken by the looks of things on there. What's happened there then? There's somebody... Yeah, the clip's broken. Interesting. Is that a clue or not? Probably not, because it was pushed well on. Pipe there. Like that. Right, what else have we got? Oh, he put the fucking regulator rectifier in the airbox, didn't he? Let's get to the plugs. In case you're wondering why, it's to keep them cool. I think they're down by the side of the radiator on the frame on these, aren't they? And they overheat, so the mod is put them inside the airbox, and then they've got cold air. Get that pipe off. Come round that side. They've got cold air because it's ram air. They've got cold air blowing on them constantly. Oh, don't make me get some pliers. Clip missing, of course. Of course there is. Let's just fucking hope it hasn't been ingested by the engine at some point. Probably not. Well, let's get you out of the way. Massive fucking hole in the airbox where the wires come through. Guys, if you're doing that and it's ram air, seal the fucking hole up, yeah? Let me bring you around the other side and get you a better view. So why? Look, it's got an STV eliminator. See that? There. Shouldn't have that fault code. Oh, good lord. Yeah, and see how these throttle valves are just fucking... That's no good, is it? Just left to just fucking mooch around. And then that there is the cam. You see that? You need multiple pairs of hands. See this here? As the throttle valve's shut, it opens this here. That's your fast idle mechanism. There. So why, if it's got one of those on it, and we still got interesting. Right, we're going to need to get these throttle bodies up. Let's basically put it back together, shall we? As it should be stock. And go from there. Disconnect that end there, which is the one that goes to the TPS. And that end, which is the one that goes to the servo. So that's that. Interesting. Right, we've got to get these throttle bodies up, get this servo back on. Then there's going to be some setting up of the bolster throttle position sensors. And then we're just going to put it back together and ride it. And see what's occurring. I can just about get my long screwdriver through the gap in the fairing and get to those. I thought I was going to take the fairing off, but I think I've done all right. I've got the screws loose. I don't want to, I want to ride it as is. So the less it comes apart, the better. Oh, hang on, that's red. So, how hard are the inlet manifold rubbers? Oh, not too bad. Let's see if I've got some bungs for there. Is my torch really fucking with the light? Sorry. Just while we're manhandling these throttle bodies around, we really don't want stuff dropping in there. Right then, what's preventing us from going up then? Wiring, I think. That'd be enough. Negative. There's a map sensor. Unplug you. Okay. Let me bring you around this side. Can you see the end of that? So this shaft here is the secondary set of butterflies. Now it could go, because it's just got a flat on both sides, it could go 180 degrees out that way or that way. But you can tell, I can see it, it only works the cam in one direction. So when that's fully closed, let me get you a better shot. Might as well explain how this works. So this is the secondary set of butterflies that are controlled by that servo. See, as it goes to the closed position, it moves this little cam here. So this cam is what gives you your fast idle. That's opening the other set of butterflies, effectively moving the throttle stop on that secondary set. So you know which way around the butterflies go, because this way, fully closed, it's not opening that. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to go that way. And I think the screws pointing upwards is probably a giveaway too. But so that's the way that goes. Hopefully that made sense. So with that in the right position, and I'm assuming this servo has parked itself, it looks like it, in the closed position. Oh, I remember this. Okay, I'm going to have to take this TPS off to get that, because that goes, the shaft goes all the way through into this throttle position sensor, and it won't line up with, yeah, I've got to take this off, and I need a tamper-proof torque. Stand by. Right, so with no TPS on there, that shaft should, sorry, big fat head, yeah, so that pokes all the way through. We've got a couple of screws, one there, and what to do with the other one? There it is, one there. Like that. These are prone to failure, these servo motors. They've got plastic gears in them, and do as I say, not as I do. If ever you've got one apart, don't be tempted to force the servo motor with your fingers. It's fine if you're gentle, but the little fine plastic gears in there really do like to strip. Fucking longest screwdriver in the world to do it up, because I can't be bothered to go and get another one. Nippy nippy. Okay, and then this throttle position sensor, which, oh yeah, it'll go two ways, won't it? How do I do it now? Fully open, I think it is, to get it to line up. I think that's right. Somebody tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Here we go. We'll soon find out when we plug it into the Diagnostic machine, or we try and do the setup procedure, it will be in the wrong place. Let's leave that loose for now. Now I can get down the side of there with a little ratchet and a little bit to tighten that up once we've set it in position. Get these throttle bodies back down, plug the wiring in, and set them up. I'm actually thinking, I'm sort of second guessing myself slightly. I'm thinking I should probably do this setup before I put the throttle bodies back down, because I might need to get to that lower TPS. So the setup procedure is with a voltmeter. What I do is, let me go, and I think I've got a breakout cable for there, so I haven't got to back probe the jobby what's it. Stand by. Yeah, so I've got this little noggin. We're getting that. It's a genuine Suzuki part. I've had this. I'm pretty sure this isn't for this bike, but I've had this for fucking donkey's years. That is the part number. 570011400A. Fucking look how dirty my hands are. Not wearing gloves. I fucking hate not wearing gloves. But I cannot be doing with those baggy bastards. Okay. Yeah, so all this does, you understand, right? It plugs in line with the sensor, and it just enables you to have some breakout wires so you can easily do your testing without, you know, jamming a probe in. I've just been searching through my collection. There's another one there. That's the other type of TPS wire you get. You know what I mean? Is there a part number on that one? No. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not what this is. Right, let's do... I'm going to do what you should all do. I'm just going to consult the workshop manual because I honestly can't remember. I'm pretty sure I got that sensor in right. And the giveaway is, as I move the sensor, see the throttle body moves to a point. Are we getting that? Because the inside of the TPS, this throttle position sensor here, is that in shot? Yeah, sort of, down here. The inside of this is spring loaded in one direction. So you put it in, and then you turn it slightly, and that way the internal mechanism of the TPS is pushing against that shaft, so there's no free play in it. Did that make any sense at all? Maybe. Let me go and consult the workshop manual about what the voltage measurement should be, and we'll have a measure. I have consulted said workshop manual, and I definitely got the assembly bit of it right. So valve in the fully open position, Bosch the sensor in. If I put that volt meter there, are you able to see that? Yeah, sort of. Okay, so the manual says measure the voltage between the yellow and the black. Should be 0.57 to 0.67. So yellow and black. Let's get this right because these wires aren't the same colour on this harness. Oh, they're sort of, so it'll be yellow and white and black, and what colour is that? Is that black and blue? Black and blue, yellow and white are the two we need to test on, which means the blue wire, you stick that in there and find a ground for this down there on the frame. Turn the ignition on, that should be 5 volts. Yeah, so that's the 5 volt reference going to the sensor, so we know that that's good. That's a good test to do. Just leave that ignition on, and then we need to measure between the yellow and the black and blue, don't we? Fully closed, it said, didn't it? And it should be, holy fuck, okay. What did it say? 0.57 to 0.67, and that's fully closed. If I move it, what are we getting? as it opens, the voltage goes up to 4.9 and fucking stalls out. Oh, and then if I go maximum, it goes to 0. What on earth? Yeah, so on that, from 0.96 onwards, which is the sensor maxed out, I've got no... What on earth is happening? Have I actually got that sensor in wrong somehow? Let's take that sensor off and do it with a screwdriver. Oh, the joys of trying to mend something and make a YouTube video at the same time. Can you see that? Sort of. I want the camera go up. There we go. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to stick a screwdriver in here and see, as I turn it, he says, is that going to work, that screwdriver? So you won't be able to see, but see how it's spring loaded? So that's down at 0.2, and as it so what I can do, holy shit, I didn't think we were getting into this now. Let's do a graphing meter. In fact, let's not do that. If we go to lab scope, the sample rate's a lot higher. Let's, yeah, 20 volt time scale. Let's do a 10 second per division. Which channel are we on? Yeah, that one. See that? Can you see that top trace? Let me zoom you in a bit. Can I zoom you in a bit? No, that's maximum zoom, sorry. But you can see that top channel, right? This one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly turn this TPS. I'm looking for any sort of dropout. See the voltage changing all the way to its lowest point, and then slowly back again. And then we can do a bit of I mean, that's working all right. Have I somehow got that sensor in the wrong way round then? It looks really, where's my torch? It looks really mullered in there. Like really chewed up. I wonder if that's the issue. Fuck, imagine if that was it. Imagine if that was a problem. Let me get a photograph of that in there for you. Okay, now. Somebody's been having a good chew on that. Although, is kind of... I don't know whether I want to call that fucked or not. Because it's still got its two little noggins. Let's try reinstalling that. So that way, clockwise, is down to the lower voltage, which is that way for the butterfly. So it's got to go that way. I feel like I'm overthinking this somehow. Fucking thing won't even go on now. What is happening? Fucking hell, I feel like there's a hidden camera somewhere trying to catch me out. Hang on, it's my camera. Why can't I get that back in there? So fucking tight. Let's try it that way. There we go. Fucking hell, thank you. It's definitely, look, that is definitely, can you see from there, as I turn this sensor, it's moving the butterfly, right? So as the butterfly closes, right, the voltage should drop. It only drops right at the end. I know that's not bolted in, but fucking hell, look, it's reading 0 volts now. So you'd expect a fairly high voltage like that with it wide open, but then as it moves, you'd expect the voltage to drop. And it only starts dropping right at the end of its travel. Fuck, imagine if that was the problem all along. So maybe the guy who was working on it was on the right lines with it being something to do with the butterflies. Of course, I fucked up, haven't I? And I've not gone and ridden it and replicated the problem. And he said the problem was the same and the butterflies weren't in play, so... Oh God. Regardless, I need a new sensor. How is that getting to... Oh, I see what happens. If you... That's at rest. If I push it past its stop in the opposite direction, slightly, the voltage drops away. That's definitely not right. Which is what this is going to do. And then I think there's so much free play inside here. The butterfly is having to move a fucking ton before it... Weird. So weird. Okay, I'm going to have to get another one of these before I go any further. It's futile, is that the right word? Otherwise, Jesus, I thought we'd be road testing and everything in part 1. It hasn't gone that way. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to get a new one of these on order. I'm not fucking around with secondhand unless... Are they £1 million? Let's have a quick look. Let's turn that ignition off so we don't flatten the battery. Throttle body. Zoomage. Yeah, that looks like it. They're both on there, aren't they? Number 13. Hopefully the description will give it away. Sensor, GSXR750 K2. Not in stock, 146 quid. Fuck's sake. Okay. Just out of interest, what's the other one cost? 156.94 in stock. Fucking typical. The one I don't need is available. That is the end of part 1, definitely. And I thought, oh God, I thought maybe this was going to be a single part video. Okay, I appreciate all of you. Like and subscribe if you would. I'll see you in part 2, hopefully when I've got a new one of these. Thanks guys. You know it's never the end when I say it is. I wanted to say this out loud because you're probably thinking it. You're thinking, Jim, the way the fault was described, as in, you know, you said it wouldn't start on the button, but it would run all right once it was running at his track day. Yeah, those symptoms do not fit this at all. Here's the thing. You can only fix what's in front of you, right? So I have to get past this hump. This is likely not the main issue, but as with a lot of these bikes, you know, fucking hell, couple of years' time, this will be 20 years old. It's hard to believe. You've got to be methodical, and I found this problem. It's 100% confirmed, a definite issue. I have to address that now. I can't go any further with my diagnosis until I know that's right. I need these throttle bodies on and working, no fault codes, etc. before I start chasing anything else. I'm sure that made sense, but I felt like I needed to say that out loud. This is the end now. See you later.